Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Panzer Core. I'm back and this time I'm gonna bring you the Modlin scenario. It's September 23rd, 1939. One last bastion of Polish resistance remains standing before Warsaw, the Modlin fortress. This stronghold and the surrounding fortifications are closely linked to Warsaw's defense and must be eliminated. Your task is to capture all of your objectives and destroy both the Modlin fortress as well as its headquarters. Failing this, you should attempt to secure as many objectives as possible, and then it may be possible to either force the fortress to surrender or leave it to be neutralized and ignored. Remember, Herr General, that time is of the essence. For every day that passes, Warsaw continues to be fortified, and Poland's allies edge ever closer to intervening. Alright, let's go to the deployment screen, and I'll discuss some of the tactics that I'm going to use here. Alright, here in the deployment phase for the Modlin scenario, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give all my current units regular replacements, once again, just to save myself a bit of prestige. And again, I don't think it matters that much at the beginning of the game here. There's one little thing that I actually want to take a look at, though. Just taking a look at some of the units here. Oh, right. Fine. So only this one, regular replacements. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna make a couple of purchases for this mission, indeed, because for this mission I want to actually start getting a pioneer unit, because I kind of want to start training one of those, and they are a part of the unit composition that I have in mind for my historical setup. I'm currently still busy with that, but I already have a plan in my head for how I am going to shape my units into certain divisions, and how I am going to represent the those historical units. I need a pioneer for that, at least at the moment. I will discuss what I'm going to do in the spoils of war scenario. So actually after Warsaw, I will already talk about that for a little bit, how I'm going to do things there. But yeah, that will be coming up. I mean, I'm still using currently the historical units anyhow, but according at least to the way Bracken and Lieutenant Joker are playing this. So everything is fine there, but it's just as to how I choose to represent the units that I'm going to use in this game. I'm going to be talking about that in the Spoils of War scenario, which is after Warsaw, if you get a decisive victory there. Either way, I'm going to buy a Pioneers for this mission. I am also going to buy an anti-aircraft unit, so I'll be purchasing that as well. Besides that, for this mission, I am going to buy a second fighter that I want to start training. So that one is coming up as well. Then I also want to start... I'm going to buy two strategic bombers. Strategic bombers were used quite a bit in the Polish campaign, especially in the bombing of Warsaw. I don't actually know whether they were also used at the Modlin fortress. I mean, the Germans kind of bypassed it and didn't do any kind of frontal assault like I'm going to do. But I'm going to be buying two of them. Now, I do know that the Heinkel 111s and the Dornier 17Zs have been used almost 50-50 in the Polish campaign. Not exactly like that, but I think it would be representative if I would be buying one Dornier 17Z and one Heinkel 111 H2. So one of each. I believe, for example, Lieutenant Joker is also using that composition, and I've been doing a little bit of research on that myself, and I do think that is actually accurate, and so I will be using one of each as well. So I'll be purchasing one Heinkel 111, and I'll be purchasing one Dornier 17Z. Those are the units that I'm going to buy for this mission. So I'm quite a bit down on prestige again, but that's okay. So what can we expect for this mission? Most part of this mission is relatively easy. I'm going to deploy all my forces in the top right screen, and pretty much they're going to work our way down to the south. There's relatively little opposition, if I remember correctly, all the way down to here where the actual Modlin fortress is. I remember the first time that I played this map already a long time ago. The way I approached it was I swung around, because there's actually indeed a part of the Modlin fortress here. This is a bunker which you need to take. There's also a bunker down here on this Modlin hex, and there's the Polish armored train Śmierć, I believe, or nicknamed Death, which is on this Modlin hex, and I believe they're all over strength in some way or the other. Don't know the exact numbers, but they are here, here, and here. And the way I want to get to this Modlin fortress hex is I want to take the city of Pultusk and swing around. There's a bridge here, so I can bypass these here defenses, swing around, and then use my infantry, my engineers, in order to take down these regions here, and then also the fort from this side. I'm going to use pretty much half of my force for that. The other half will just swing south, take Plonsk and Nasielsk, and try. Some of those forces will try to move around Modlin from the left. So they'll be going down here, cross the Bzura River, where it meets the Vistula, and then attack Modlin from the south, even though we were just there, so it's a bit odd. But yeah, they'll be going around and then swinging around from the south, attacking Modlin from there. Meanwhile, there's a very good reason why I bought these 2 strategic bombers. Why is that? If I remember correctly, there is initially no real anti-aircraft defense, both for Śmierć and this bunker. Now, at the airfields, we can expect anti-aircraft defenses, obviously, but those only work for this part of the Modlin fortress, because they can't actually go onto the river hex here, and that means that both the armor train and the fortress area here are susceptible to air attacks, and that is the weakness of the Modlin fortress. I will have to do some relentless bombing over these 2 places in order to get close. Not only that, I will have to stick a unit right next to the city somewhere in order to prevent them from buying extra units at Modlin itself. I will see how I'll tackle that, but most important is the strategic and tactical bombing campaign of the Modlin bunker in the city and the Śmierć train. If I destroy the anti-aircraft defenses here, I might also bomb this part of the Modlin fortress. We'll see how I have to tackle it with the units that I have on this side. So I'm not really sure. It's just I'm going to have to make that up as I go along. Of course, I also have this 88 centimeter flak. I don't expect any enemy air attacks during this mission. If I'm not mistaken, there's none here. But there are a couple of Polish bunkers that I might attack, and maybe some tanks or whatever. I think the 88s, they do have pretty high initiative. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, 8 initiative, relatively high. For example, the tanks only have 5 initiative, so they will get to attack first, and they're not actually that bad at attacking in their anti-tank mode. So I think that should work out fine. I might be able to put out good use here. So yeah, let's deploy our units, and let's see how I'll do on this one. Let's actually just go up here, and yeah, I'll start deploying, and once again, I will see you at the end of the mission. Yeah, so please enjoy everything in between, and I'll meet you on the other side. And back here at the end of the Modlin Fortress, Modlin scenario. Maybe it's just Modlin. Let's take once again a little peek at the battlefield. And I think for the most part my strategy worked out relatively well. To be fair, I actually did take a lot more losses than I might have wanted. I have to say I was a bit unconcentrated, and I think I just played relatively poorly all over this mission. So that's also where some of that damage comes from. Yeah, just not 100%, I guess. That's why, for example, this tank got badly hurt. It's just, yeah, just messed that up. I did use my strategy to good effect though, so I was able indeed to use relentless air attacks on these two hexes in order to take all those guys. Like I said, I did take a bit more damage than I wanted. I'm gonna go for regular replacements, so overall I don't think it will be that bad. Most likely on the Pioneers I'm likely to give them elite replacements just to keep them at 1 star, because I do think it's very important for the Pioneers to benefit from that extra initiative that they get from being elites. So I can see myself getting those elite replacements, but for the most part I most likely won't. It's a shame I didn't take Fort Debe, the final hex. I didn't get around to it. I would have needed 1 more turn, maybe even 2. Although with 2 artillery to back me up, I probably could have taken it next turn. Well, that's okay. I got a decisive victory on this one. Pretty happy with it, even with the historical core. If you have, like I said before, some knowledge of the map, because I did play it before once, a long time ago. It must have been years at least, but you know what to do, so you know that you need to take those bombers in order to bomb there specifically. That's not something that you might do if you would play this blind, because naturally I would expect anti-aircraft defenses near Modlin, but they aren't there. So if you know that beforehand you're going to take the strategic bombers, maybe you're going to try and scout it out during the mission. You could do that as well if you feel like taking a little bit of a risk, and then you'll find that there's no defenses there and you might start bombing as well. If you do that, then you would also figure out what to do. But that takes a bit more risk, because you would have to go and scout with one of your airplanes, because it takes a long time to get through these fortifications, bunkers, some well-entrenched units. So you're not going to scout with your ground forces. Definitely need to do it with the air forces. And then, if there is actually anti-aircraft defense, you might take a big hit on your fighter or whatever that's out there. And that will be a bit problematic. Or at least it will knock you down in prestige a bit. Either way, let's go to the briefing and see what the Generalfeldmarschall has to say about us taking the Modlin fortress by assault, yeah. Congratulations, Herr General. Modlin Fortress has been utterly crushed, and now Warsaw is almost entirely cut off. Based on your past successes, you have 2 options available to you at this point. You can shift your forces south of the Vistula River and attack the Polish capital from the southwest, or you can remain on the north bank of the Vistula and assault Warsaw from the northwest. Regardless of the choice you make, you should expect fanatical and well-entrenched defenders to oppose your advance, as the Polish have made it quite clear Warsaw will be their last stand. The choice is yours, Herr General. I will most certainly do Warsaw South. I have experience with Warsaw South, because the first time I played it, back on my old channel, I did Warsaw South as well, and I found that to be much easier than Warsaw North, surprisingly. That's just because I feel like Warsaw South allows you to attack Warsaw from 2 sides, whereas Warsaw North makes that a lot harder to do. But I will talk about that when I'm in the actual map. For now, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. So thanks for watching. Take care. See you there. Bye-bye.